Okay, in this video, we're going to take a look at a few charts, look at a few coins. We're going to revisit a few coins that I've talked about before. With Bitcoin here, Bitcoin's been consolidating. This doesn't really cause me any concern. I mean, this is just, in my opinion, waiting for its next leg up. I mean, the halving is coming. I mean, this is going to have probably still a lot of strength until summer. Maybe then it might get a meaningful correction. But I just don't really see, any real possibility of this thing having any major, aside from some sort of black swan event. But we had it sell off here, and it just got bought back up. There's still a lot of buying interest. So, and if Bitcoin continues to go up, that's gonna be beneficial for all of the altcoins as well. So, not much to see there right now. The Bitcoin dominance chart has been dropping substantially, so we have seen a lot of altcoins moving. Maybe this is the top. Maybe it just continues to go down from here. We'll have to watch this and see. But I would expect that's the case. I mean, we're making lower highs on each of these moves, so we'll keep an eye on that too. The total 3 looks good. It's just climbing steadily upwards. That's what we want to see. It's been consolidating for a while. That the markets have taken a breather, and we've got, but we're above these highs back here in December too, so that's a really good sign. This level here, what is it, like I would just say 525 or so, 525 billion. It's consolidating above there, so most likely what we're looking at, I mean, it's like I said in the other video I made, a week or two ago, a couple weeks ago or something. I said the bull market is right around the corner. I think that was February 4th I did that. And that was right before this move up. I'm not a prophet. It's just that this is the way these things work. That you get these sell-offs and these corrections, those are going to be followed by sharp moves up, particularly when you're in a bull market or the beginning of the bull market like we're in now. So that's a important point to consider. I mean, when we get in these corrections, and it's one of the hardest things to do is keep your sanity, but you have to have a long-term vision, and you have to understand where this stuff is going. So one of the coins I put on this list today was Binance Coin. Binance Coin has been showing a lot of strength recently. If we look at this weekly chart, I mean, these past 3 weeks have been really strong. And in addition to that, ever since the beginning of the year, like, it's been kind of going sideways. I mean, yeah, you could call this a correction from this point up here to this point down here, but that's not really that much. We can measure that out. 15% correction. I mean, that's nothing. Now, granted, it's not moving like these other altcoins. From its lows down here, we have a 91% move up. But what I noticed about Binance Coin, I mean, I hold a little bit of it because I like using Binance Smart Chain. I mean, let's be honest, it is still, to this day, one of the cheapest and fastest chains out there. So what I noticed is, particularly over this past 3 weeks, it's been showing a lot of strength. And that is directly in inverse correlation to what we see with some of the other top 10 coins. Like, here's Avalanche. This thing's been lollygagging. Solana, I mean, this thing's doing nothing right now. So I think it's interesting, and it's kind of also important to take note of this inverse correlation. Like, I don't have a big bag of Avalanche or Solana, but if I did, and I was looking at this and I noticed this over here, I would probably swap that over into Binance Coin and just go ahead and take advantage of this, this 20% plus move, because Binance is moving, instead of sitting there holding a bag of something that's causing me to lose money or stay at a neutral position. I mean, they're all top 10 coins. I mean, none of them are going to have any outlandish movements to the downside or upside. But if you pay attention to these types of things, you can go ahead and juggle your affairs accordingly, and really not subject yourself to too much risk. And instead of just sitting there watching your portfolio do nothing, I mean, you can potentially increase that. Another one here I wanted to look at was Injective. I think Injective is going to continue to do really well over the next couple of years, particularly because ever since the beginning of 2023, this thing's been showing an intense amount of strength. Right now, since the end of last year, it's been consolidating. Now, of course, if you take the top and you go ahead and you measure this down, that's a 40% correction. So that could be substantial. But what I'm most focused on is how, since the beginning of the year, it has been going sideways and consolidating. This is exactly what I would like to see before I anticipate a coin in its next major leg up. I want to see this consolidation, and this is showing a lot of strength, in my opinion. It's showing, indecisiveness. The market's just taking a rest, but it's also showing a lot of strength, because if it wasn't strong, it would have sold off, and we would see a downward drifting of the price, like we see over here in Avalanche, how it's drifting downwards, like we see this here in Solana. It's drifting. It drifted down. It didn't just hold its position up here. These candles down here are down here. They're not up here, right? So in my opinion, Injective shows quite a bit more strength than a lot of coins have been lately, or since the beginning of the year. And number one, this is the type of thing I want to see. If I want to get the jump on a big move, I will be eyeing this closely. If this was a coin that I was holding and it was looking like this is a pattern I'd be looking for. If I had taken some profits, I'd be looking to get back in, either down here or somewhere in here. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you could even wait for a breakout, but this shows so much strength, that it's a good option for, I don't know, if you have some extra cash that you're looking for a solid coin, this is also an option for that too. Now, I did a video a few weeks back on LCX. So I want to look at this chart right now, because this is an important, in my opinion, one of the most important things that you can pay attention to. I did the video on this day. So this is January 30th. This candle, this blue candle, which was very indecisive, had not closed yet. It was actually probably the price was down here somewhere. And what I said was, look, because this has had a big move, it was like 700 some percent from, down here somewhere. I said that I would be looking to take some profits out of my position, just because it's going to have some sort of correction. And you can go ahead and buy back lower after it corrects down at these lower prices. And then if it corrects even more, you're out of the position. And I suggested 10 to 25% once per day. So let's look at how this played out. Let's say you use 10%. That's maybe a more conservative way to do this. I mean, if you want to get really aggressive, you could use 25%. And you could have been completely out of your position between, 25 cents and, 30 cents or so. If you use 10%, you got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, let's just say you stop at 50% of your position. Well, that means that you took 50% of your profits in this price range between 30 cents and roughly 25 cents. Now, this is looking kind of bearish. I mean, number one, it did go higher, but I mean, what do you think you're going to time the exact top? I mean, I've done that maybe a couple of times in thousands of scenarios. A better way to do it is to say, let me exit either some or all of my position in a range, a small range near the top. That is much more doable. And I gave a lot of reasons as to why, I thought that it would be a good idea to maybe start taking some profits. I mean, you can go back and watch that video, and I'll cover more in future videos when I see these types of setups. But the bottom line is it kind of looks bearish. Now, it could continue to go sideways. And if this is a coin that you really were passionate about, and you run the numbers and you expected some much, much higher numbers from this coin, by the end of this bull run, then you could just be looking to get back in, maybe in these levels here, or even waiting to see if it goes a little bit lower. I mean, it's had a 40+% correction here. It could definitely, it looks strong with this, how it got bought back up right here. So it could definitely just go straight up from here, or it could continue to go down. But the important fact is not that, if I buy back in this same range, it didn't really do me any good. That's irrelevant, because this does two things for you. Number one is if we get bigger corrections, because some coins don't just correct 40%, they correct 60 to 80%. And then they have another big leg up. If you get one of those, maybe you have a smaller cap coin and it corrects 60%, you can buy back down at these lower prices and add to your overall holdings so that the next leg up you can get even more profits than what you had before. The other thing it's doing is it's giving you practice, because if you think that you're just going to hold your coins all the way to the end of the bull run and then sell out, all I can say is good luck with that, because what you'll soon discover is that parting with your assets after you've realized and are staring at a large sum of money is going to be one of the most difficult things that you've ever done in your life. The psychological ramifications of that are enormous. So by doing this way, what you're doing is you're practicing and you're training yourself on how to do this. You're practicing and teaching yourself how to overcome yourself, because that's the only real enemy you have here. You are going to get in your way, and you are going to decide that you don't want to sell even though it looks like it's a top, because it's going to go higher is what you're going to tell yourself. And so you're going to hold on, and as soon as it sells off, you're going to be like, well, I don't want to sell here because it was just up here, so I'm going to hold until the price turns around and comes back up here, and then maybe I'll look at selling. But it's not going to do that. At the end of the bull run, it's just going to drop even lower. And then you're going to say, well, I had profits of this much way up here. I definitely can't sell down here. I'm going to wait till it goes up just a little bit more, and then I'm going to sell. But it's not going to do that. It's going to drop even more. And pretty soon, you're going to ride the whole wave all the way back down to the bottom of the bear market. Congratulations. You left the bull run with nothing. So by going through this exercise of identifying where it looks like this move has had some exhaustion, and then looking to take some profits and scale out at a range near the top, you are training yourself in a way that 95%, probably more than that, of the people out there are not doing. So if you're trained and practiced up and you've gotten some skills at this and the other people haven't, you are going to be the one that walks away with the most money. So I don't even care if you just do like 1%. You do 1%, 2%, 3%, and you scale out at a small amount. And if you can't do that, if you can't even get yourself to part with 1% of your position, you've got some serious problems, and you need to start working on those now. And so this is why I said to do that. And as you can see, it actually was kind of a temporary top here. We'll have to wait and see. Does it go down even further? Does it go up from here? What I'm saying is it's irrelevant. If it looks like it's showing a lot of strength and goes sideways like we saw over here with Injective, where it just keeps going sideways and sideways and sideways, go ahead and get back in. Buy your position back, and don't worry about the trivial bullshit like, oh, I lost $50 or $1,000. Who cares? The point is that you've gotten an enormous amount of practice by doing this. You've proven to yourself that you can do it correctly, and you're that much further ahead of cashing out near the top in a small range like this of the entire bull run. Now, you can just hold your coins all the way through from the bear market to the top of the bull run and make a lot of money that way. The problem is that you've not got any practice along the way of selling at the right time. And, how do we even know when the bull run's going to end? Nobody knows for sure. In 2021, some coins had the end of their bull run in May. They never saw new highs beyond that. Some coins had the end of their bull run in August. For the rest of the year, they never made those highs again. Some coins topped in November, some in December, and some even went out to January. How do you know when is going to be the end for your coin? So if you're not training your eyes to spot these signals that are giving you an indication that, hey, this could be the top of this coin's move, and then training yourself how to overcome yourself and hit the sell button and start scaling out, you're going to be hard pressed to come out of this thing in one piece. So let's continue on. I did a video on Pyth Network, so let's take a look at see what's going on with Pyth Network. So Pyth Network has, it's gone up a little bit, it's gone sideways, it's sold off a little bit. I know somebody sold a lot of coins here. Probably they were, if I had to guess, they were trying to do a trade around leading up to the move up to Pyth Network's first IDO, which will be, I think, tomorrow and the next day with Aether Games, and then they dump their bags. So other than that, it's been holding up really well. This level right here, which shows up better on the weekly chart, this level right here, in my opinion, was a resistance that has now flipped to a support. So we're testing that, and I'm expecting some more strength from here. Still lower trading volume on this. The liquidity seems okay, but the trading volume is not that great. They just released in a tweet that they're going to be on several more blockchain networks. And so that will help with a lot of other things too. So basically now, instead of just Ethereum and BNB chain, they've added all these other chains as well. Most of them are Ethereum L2s, but we've also got Avalanche on there. And they have mentioned that there's more than this, so there's probably going to be a lot more on the way too. So it'll give people more options on where to buy this stuff and also where to sell it. So again, Aether Games will be the first IDO launching tomorrow. The details are here in this Twitter post. And if you don't live in a terrorist country like Iran or North Korea or Syria or the United States, then you can go ahead and participate in this because Aether has requested KYC. So from what I heard in the beginning, KYC will be required up to or over $1,000. But if Aether Games wants KYC, then that's what they're going to get. So nonetheless, Aether Games should be a really good. I mean, they've got a lot of good stuff going on. So that's something that's worth taking a look at. And there should be a lot more great IDOs coming on the way. So paid network, it still looks good. They're still holding it up in this channel. They've broken a resistance. It's now a support. Let's look at some other ones that I mentioned. I mentioned Aioz, but I mentioned this in the Discord. I mentioned this around 21 cents, and it's been climbing since then. It caught the AI hype. It's gone up over 50%, in just a short amount of time, just a few days, really. On the daily chart, it's hit this resistance 5 level, but it doesn't look like a top to me. So if this flips to the weekly, to where now we can measure this on the weekly, it still has quite a ways to go. So to get to resistance 5 on the weekly, that's 117%. So these resistance levels a lot of times act as almost like a magnet. They'll draw the price to it, and it'll hit these levels and test them. Sometimes it'll go well above them. Sometimes it'll go just below them. But they're a great way to anticipate, where the price might be leading up to. I mean, this project is almost over its old all-time highs. I've got a chart measuring back here to March of 2022. There's a lot of reasons why I like Aioz, and I think they're going to do really well this bull run. It gives you a play on several different narratives which have been really, really hot so far. Just the bull run's just barely started. So it gives you access to deep in. So when people start talking about deep in, Aioz will be one of those projects that people rush to buy. AI, we just saw like this move here. People have been going bonkers over AI, and Aioz caught the benefit from that as well because they are involved with AI as well. File storage, streaming. It also is a layer 1. You can build on top of Aioz. So if people get excited about layer 1s again, they want to rush out and buy up all the layer 1s. Well, Aioz is a layer 1. You can, so that will benefit from that. It's also part of the Cosmos ecosystem. So, we've already seen a lot of people getting excited about Cosmos, last year. If that narrative picks up again, Aioz will benefit. They just go into Cosmos and buy up all the decent coins on Cosmos. So this gives you a shoe-in on a lot of different really hot narratives. You've got a market cap of 328 million. It's ranked number 210 right now. This has a lot of room to climb. I see a 10x in this easily. Also, fully diluted valuation is also 328 million. So there's not like a giant pool of coins out there waiting to be dumped on the market. So this is a beautiful setup. So yes, it has already moved up substantially. There's a huge move right here. If we measure this from the bottom up till now, that's closing in on 3,000% in gains. And that sounds like a lot because it is a lot. However, we know that with crypto, a lot of times 3,000%, if you're measuring from the very bottom, is like a drop in the bucket. So this has room. It could go up quite a bit. I've not run the numbers to get a realistic expectation of where I think Aioz can go, but I think at least a 10x from where it's at now is highly realistic. And I like them because, like I said, they give you access to a lot of different narratives. So with any of those things start to pump, you can benefit by holding Aioz. So I've not heard anything, to turn me off to these guys yet. So as of right now, I still really like this coin. Let's see. I also mentioned Pyth, and I mentioned Pyth because it looks like it was breaking out right here. It's been trending downwards. We got this little breakout. So this is kind of an earlier one that I noticed from a breakout from a trend line instead of from a horizontal channel or something. But I like Pyth because it's a newer project. It hasn't gone through a bull run. So literally the sky is the limit with Pyth. There's no telling where this could go. I mean, Pyth right now is ranked 106, so it has a lot of room to go up, even with an $800 million market cap. I mean, these look big now, but by the end of this bull run, $800 million is going to be nothing. Now, fully diluted is a whole nother story. So I would be cautious about, like holding this long term. If I was really going to buy a big bag of it, I would dig in and find out, okay, where are these tokens, who's holding them, and when are they going to hit the market? But for a shorter term play, this has got a lot of upside. I mean, these tokens are not going to, all dump on the market next week. All right. So that's not a concern unless you're doing something longer term, I think. Now, the thing about Pyth is that it's a strong competitor to Chainlink. A lot of projects are powered by using Pyth right now as their oracle. So I think that Pyth will continue to do well. And this is a great play. If you've got a separate set of trading funds that you're not, in something right now, I think this would be a good option. Of course, like anything, it can still drop and go down further. But I think as long as you're willing to ride that position out for the next move, this could be as good of an entry as any. I mean, it's sold off. We had a high up here. It's sold off 23%. Maybe it could go lower than that. That's not too much. But who knows? Maybe it's strong enough that that's as low as the buyers are going to allow it to fall before they start buying it up. I mean, it's a new coin. It's a shiny new object. So Pyth is another one that we're watching. Another one I mentioned in our Discord was Mantle. It seems like with the potential for Ethereum, the Ethereum ecosystem is going to benefit from that. So a lot of these L2s are also going to benefit. Mantle, is a bigger market cap coin. It's already at number 42, so 2.8 billion. There's less upside potential. Doesn't mean there's no upside potential, just less than what you'd get with some of the others or some of the lower cap coins. But that also might mean that it's a little bit lower risk. So Mantle has broken out, and we see, quite a bit of movement in here. And these gains are not going to be as high as, as much as fast as some of the other ones too. But like, for example, Metis was another one. Metis has broken out and just started going crazy. There's 20%. And one of the things I like about Metis is that it is a lower market cap coin right now. They're ranked 133, 574 million by market cap. So, of course, this is Vitalik's mom's coin. So obviously it's going to do well. And but we see a nice breakout with these guys from this level here above the $96 or so price. And again, this is also a newer project. They are into making new all-time highs up here. It's not experienced a full bull run, so I think that Metis is going to do really well this bull run. And so for me personally, I mean, I have a small position, and it's one that I'm watching closely. I may add to it. If I want to have some sort of exposure to the Ethereum, this is about as close as I would want to get. Another option that I mentioned was Netswap. So Netswap could be like a good leveraged play on Metis. So Netswap is a decentralized exchange on the Metis DAO network. Market cap is only 8.2 million. I think it was like 6 million or something when I mentioned it in the other day in Discord. But this is basically like a brand new token. So this thing, the sky is the limit on this. So for a low cap, I don't know what it's going to do. 10, 20, 50, 100x. It's hard to say, but that potential is there. So it's had some excitement right in the beginning, like it always does. Then it sold off, and it continued to sell off until people just liquidated all their tokens until it got down here. And I said that, hey, it looks like this might be ready to turn. And sure enough, it did. So in just a couple days, it went up 41%. And it's definitely broken out from this downward trend since back in the middle of January. It's broken out of this daily Bollinger Band from the lower part of it. Now it's up here making new, like this thing is, in my opinion, is potentially going to climb. It's difficult to buy. Like you can't just buy Metis, and it's not like a straightforward process. I bought it on xt.com. I'll leave a link in the description. They seem decent enough to me. I was able to purchase them without any issues. Just tell them you live in Colombia or Zimbabwe or something. It won't be a problem. That way, I don't think they do KYC. But if they do, I mean, if you have a VPN, they're not asking for documents. So Netswap is a good one that I like for a low cap coin. And the last one we'll look at is Streamer. So Streamer hasn't done anything really in the past week or so. But Streamer I like because they're also fairly low cap, $54 million. I like that the fully diluted valuation is only $70 million, so it's not that much more. The volume is pretty good. They have 5 million in 24-hour volume is decent. So there's a lot of upside potential. And then what these guys are doing is data broadcasting, so decentralized data broadcasting. But specifically what they're doing is live data broadcasting. So whether it's for data for AI or video streaming or any other kind of deep in project, that's what these guys are doing. And the thing, like I said, the thing that separates them from any and all of their competition is they're focusing on live data. So you can come in here to their website and take a look, and see what they've got going on. I'm not going to go into too much detail on these guys. I'm going to leave a link to this article here. And this article, if you want to read it, it does kind of a really good deep dive on Streamer, and you can see all what's going on there and how it works. But for now, we'll just leave it at the fact that, hey, these guys are a lower cap. They're in a couple of different hot narratives. They've been around for a bit, but they've got the potential here to catch some of these good moves. And they're only up like 261% from their bottom. They're kind of an unknown. So not a lot of people talking about this. I mean, there's two ways you can look at it. You can look at it like, well, some of these other coins have moved up 1,000, 2,000%. Why these guys have only moved up 260? That shows that there's a lot of weakness there. That's possibly true, and that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is that nobody's really been talking about them. So they're a little bit under the radar. So you'll have to make your own decision on that. I would buy something like this a little bit more cautiously. I was looking at this because they are in some popular narratives and they have this nice breakout here. We see this weekly candle has broken out nicely. We've got some price has been holding up last week. It's just kind of gone sideways. And there's a good chance it's going to continue to go up. It's the bull run. I mean, if it's not a complete shit coin, it's probably going to have a good move. And since they're a fairly low market cap coin, there's a lot of good upside potential with the type of project that they are. I mean, they tap into AI and video and data and all this other good stuff. So another one that we'll be keeping a close eye on. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you again in the next one.